Hi YouTube.
Hey YouTube friends and family, it's your boy GB Reviews, and today I'm doing another pandemic meal prep for you. I'm going to show you how to walk through step-by-step easy meals, this one is fairly easy. It's probably like low to medium skill required, but we're going to make spicy Korean stir fry with rice. I'm going to show you the vegetables I'm using. This meal came specifically, the ingredients came from Sunbasket and the recipe came from Sunbasket. So please remember to hit that like button and look down at the bottom for the referral code so that you can get discounts on your first meals. But anyway, spicy Korean stir fry, we're about to get at it. You're gonna love it, and I'm gonna walk you through it. All right, so let me show you the ingredients first. So here are my ingredients. This is, like I said, from Sunbasket. And the reason I like Sunbasket is that their ingredients come fresh, organic. So you have scallions, and on your cards, just so you can see, they'll show you what you actually are required to have. So in your list of things, they sent us fresh Gulf shrimp, organic scallions, organic carrots, which both of the organic things we need to wash, the daikons, which if you're not used to eating Asian food, is kind of like a radish, so you can just substitute with radish if you don't have it. Again, with the recipe card, you can make the meals. And then they send you tamari, apple cider vinegar, and gochujang, which is gochujang is a Korean spicy paste that you can mix with a lot of foods. You have your onion, your white rice, and then you have your dried shiitake mushrooms. What you're gonna need from your own kitchen is a peeler, because we're gonna have to peel these daikons, kosher salt, and ground pepper. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna get at this. I'm gonna show you again. We're gonna do the meal prep so you can see exactly how to go through and do the recipe. I promise I won't talk too much, so we can fast forward through the parts of me just slicing everything and getting everything sorted. The recipe calls for the rice to be made in a pot. I typically make my rice in a rice cooker. Cooking it on a pot on the stove is quicker, but if you cook it in a rice cooker, it's just easy and you can just kind of forget about it. You don't have to look at it, you don't have to stir it or anything like that. We will have to rehydrate these shiitake mushrooms, so you are gonna need a pot for this, but I'll walk you through that. And then I won't show you that, because I showed you that in another video, but I will tell you, you need a pot, you need to put it in the water, and you have to boil it for like 3 to 5 minutes, and then it'll rehydrate these shiitake mushrooms. We're gonna get to cooking, we're gonna get to cutting. The videos typically take a lot longer than it would take you to prepare this meal. This meal probably is about a 30-minute meal to prepare. So if you're preparing this for yourself or for your family, super quick. But because I'm recording everything, it takes a little bit longer. I'm gonna fast forward through parts, like I said, but rock with me. I'm showing you how to do pandemic meals so that you can be healthier coming out of this crisis. Anyway, let's get so our first step is starting with the shiitake mushrooms. We're just gonna cut the pack. We're gonna put a cup and a half of water in there, and we're just gonna let that boil. We're gonna cover that. And I already put the rice in the rice cooker because I like cooking with the rice cooker. Once we rehydrate these, then we'll get on to the next step. We're gonna go cut some vegetables. All right, again, remember the Sunbasket cards are not like the Home Chef books. So they're smaller cards, a little bit easier to use around the kitchen. So I'm just gonna prop this up here. And then it's gonna tell us, so the first steps we did, we're softening our mushrooms now. We're doing the rice. Our second step is we wanna make pickled daikons, right? So, or you could pickle radish. We're gonna wash these, and then I'm going to clean them and pickle them. I normally have my handy dandy chef knife, but I have now a handy dandy ceramic chef's knife. If you're dealing with a chef knife, remember, I mean, all knives are sharp, but ceramic knives just tend to not lose their edge as quickly, and so you can have a bad day messing around with ceramic knives. So I'm gonna be quiet. I'm gonna just go through the steps of preparing this daikon, and then I'll start talking again when I move on to another vegetable. So now we've cut our radishes into half moon sections. What you have to do now is in the medium bowl that I put everything in, you're going to combine the daikons with 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar. Grab our handy tablespoon. We're gonna use the whole thing of apple cider vinegar, 1 tablespoon of water. And so you wanna make sure you kind of get these pieces covered. Then we're gonna use our black pepper, make it sort of fine. And then we're gonna use some kosher salt. And I would just take your hand, you just stir it, and then we're just mixing this up. Try to separate the pieces of the radishes. And then you're gonna just let this stand while you prepare the rest of the food. And hopefully this will start to pickle this. If I was doing this, not trying to do this for the video, I'd probably do this the night before, and then that way your radishes would be actually extra pickled. Now we're gonna go check on the mushrooms to make sure our mushrooms are doing all right. And then we're gonna come back and peel the rest of our vegetables. So we're gonna first peel our onion. You need to cut this into 1-inch pieces, just enough that you have enough for a cup. Ooh, God dang it. Be careful when you're cutting. See how I told you to put your fingers like this, and I didn't do it this time, and of course. But that's also because I didn't pull the onion skins properly off of the onions. So the knife slipped off of the onion skin. The only thing that saved me from getting a really bad cut is the knife actually hit the nail and cut into my nail first. So I've already peeled one of my carrots. I'm gonna peel another one. But basically what you need to do is we need to do the shallots, which we have to wash again. I finished most of the onions. For the shallots, you're going to root the ends from the scallions, cut off the white parts. We're gonna do the white parts into 1.5-inch pieces, which are the parts down here, and then this part we're gonna leave for the garnish. So the floppy part, you leave them for the garnish. And the part that they call white, on some scallions, this whole part will be white, but it's basically the thick part, that's what they're telling you. And then for the carrots, we're gonna peel them, and then we're gonna cut it into 1/4-inch slices. So I'm gonna be quiet now because I'm gonna go through this, and then we'll speed it up for you guys. All right, we're done with that step. So now we're gonna move on to the part where we're removing the mushrooms. You're gonna leave some of the liquid that they were soaking in, that they were in your pot. You gotta leave that. We wanna keep that because we're gonna use that. And then we're gonna, in a small bowl, we're gonna stir our tamari and our gochujang together. So, all right, let's keep moving. All right, so now we have our mushroom caps. As you can see, the mushroom caps are there. So we're gonna take them out. They're gonna be a little hot. But they are rehydrated. As you can see, they're good to go. And then what you're gonna do is you gotta stem them. So I'm gonna use a paper towel only because the backs are still hot. And then you're gonna just basically take a knife, you're gonna cut the stems out. So this is a life hack. If you your mushrooms are too hot, or you just cut yourself, you don't want to get cut again, you can use this as your finger, and then I can cut as close as I want to the spoon, because my knife is not going to cut my spoon. And remember, so we're taking the stems out, and we're cutting these into nice thin slices. That's it, but you see how easy that works when you use the spoon as your finger? And because it's hard, it's easier to do that, so. And now that we're finished done with that, we're gonna, in a small bowl, we're gonna stir together the tamari and the gochujang sauce. So we're gonna do that in a small bowl, so we'll do that in this bowl. And we'll prepare that. So, and that's just your two sauces that you see here. Put that together in this bowl. Smells like a soy sauce. So it says organic, low sodium, gluten-free tamari. So, and these containers, Sunbasket also sends cool little containers so you can keep like powders and sauces and stuff in. And then the gochujang, so I like it spicy, so we're gonna go with the whole amount. It comes out like a paste. So I'm gonna probably have to get a knife to take this out. But like I said, it comes out like a paste. And then you're just gonna scoop it out. So our next step is to prepare our wild-caught Gulf shrimp. We are going to cut this open, and then we're going to pour out this liquid in here. And then I'm going to rinse these in a bowl before I deal with these. Get all that nasty liquid out. Then you're going to put them in a bowl, and then we're going to rinse them. So the nice part about the Sunbasket shrimp are they are wild caught. So I have rinsed them, and then we're going to pat them dry. And they give you like a ton of shrimp, which is kind of nice. We're just going to pat them dry. And then you're going to season them with salt and pepper. Now that we've gotten that done, we're off to our final step, cooking the stir fry. So let's move. All right, so our first step is we're going to use oil. And what I want to use for this is I don't want to use, this is a nonstick pan, so I don't want to use nonstick spray. And I just want to use canola oil. So I'm going to put 1 to 2 tablespoons of canola oil. So I'm going to get a tablespoon. And I'm going to put 1 to 2 tablespoons of canola oil in there. Ideally, I would like to use a wok, but I don't have my wok here, so I'm using just a non-stick 12-inch deep pan. You can use this pan also for frying, which is nice because the sides are high enough that it doesn't let a lot of the grease pop out. And then we're going to start to add our vegetables. So once this gets to heat up a little bit more, we're gonna add our scallions and peppers. I am not gonna talk through this stage, but just know that we're gonna add the onions and scallions first. Then we're gonna add, so they're gonna cook for 2 to 3 minutes. Then we're gonna add the carrots, which we're gonna cook for a minute. And then we're gonna add our mushrooms. And then the last thing we'll add is the shrimp. And the reason I'm telling you this now is because I'm gonna just fast forward through the video. So you're gonna see me cooking all these things, but I'm actually gonna do it quite quickly so that you don't have to go through that total cook time of 5, 7, 9 minutes. So we're gonna do it really quickly. Now that our shrimp are properly coated with the gochujang sauce and cooked, now we're ready to plate. So we're gonna move to plating and we're gonna move to eating. So turn your heat off and let's go. So we have prepared our meal. Our radish are pickled. We have our rest of our spring onions for garnish. We plated everything. And so, here's the taste test. That's pretty good. The daikon pickled pretty well. Like I said, I would have probably let them sit for a little bit longer than the time that it takes to cook. But they're nice and fresh. And so now I know how to pickle my own radishes at home. This meal is a nice, fresh, organic meal. The shrimp are good. The sauce is not too spicy. All in all, I like this sunbasket meal. Again, it was longer to prepare than it would normally have taken if you were preparing it yourself. It's probably like a 30-minute meal max to prepare. It took me a little bit longer just because between filming the video and just trying to get everything prepared, it takes longer, but very good. The cook times are accurate. The carrots are nice and soft. The onions are cooked really well. I am happy. Let's see how the shiitakes taste. Mushrooms are good. So that's it for my meals today. This is a sunbasket meal. Like I said, please hit the like button for the algorithm. Hit the notification bell so you can get my updates, and also subscribe to my channel. The other thing is, if you want to try these sunbasket meals, remember that in the bottom description there is a link to referral code, so you can get, I think, a discount, $30 off your first meals. But that being said, these are good meals to prepare while you're at home. Learn a skill, do something, social distance, and make sure that you stay safe out there. Anyway, it's your boy GB Reviews. I am out. Subscribe and like below.
Subscribe right below.